From Gap to Greatness: How to Make a Comeback in Cybersecurity, a CISO's recommendation. A career gap doesn't define your future. What you do during that gap does. Cybersecurity leader or 26 plus years in the field. I've seen this story too many times. Talented individuals pause their careers. Maybe due to personal reasons, relocation, health, or simply trying to find the right direction. Then when they're ready to return, they hesitate. They fear the gap will hold them back. Let me tell you something, from one cybersecurity leader to the next generation, the gap is only a problem if you didn't use it. If you learned, built, experimented, and simulated real-world scenarios, you didn't just fill the gap, you turned it into your training ground. Here's how to do it, and get noticed. If you're serious about breaking into cybersecurity or returning to it, here's my field-tested recommendation. Set up your own lab, install FefSense, build firewall rules, set up NAT and DMZ, simulate attacks and defense, use open-source tools, work with Suricata for IDs, Wazoo for SIEM and EDR, OpenDLP for data classification. These aren't toys, they're real enterprise-grade tools. Don't just read compliance, simulate it. Practice ISO 27001, GDPR, DPDPA, or PCI-DSS controls. Implement logical, physical, and administrative safeguards in your lab. Study threats like an analyst. Dive into the MITRE AT&TIC framework. Map your logs to TTPs, see how adversaries think. Practice encryption, data protection, and detection. Set up PGP encryption. Send test mails, track them with OpenDLP. Prove your end-to-end understanding. The game changer: show real scenarios. Here's the truth most people miss. Once your resume says I have experience, the entire interview pattern changes. Suddenly you're not being grilled for bookish knowledge. You're being tested on how you handled real-world situations. So simulate them. What would you do if a server in your lab showed lateral movement? How would you write a DLP policy for PII? What alerts would you investigate first in Wazoo? When you've done this, even in a self-setup environment, you speak like someone who's been there. My message to every gap year professional: 6 months, 1 year, even 2 years off? Don't panic. You can build your own comeback. But it's on you to do the work. You don't need permission to learn. You don't need a job to practice. You just need commitment. Every recruiter wants problem solvers. Every SAC wants someone who thinks critically. Every CISO, including me, wants someone who can take initiative. And if you've built your own cybersecurity journey during a gap, that's initiative at its finest. Real talk: why real-time practice matters. Let me be brutally honest, you can't protect what you've only read about. Cybersecurity isn't a theory-based field, it's a field of action, reaction, and constant evolution. Reading about firewalls won't help when you're staring at logs with 1,000 plus blocked IPs. Knowing what PII means isn't enough when you're asked to build a DLP policy for it. Studying MITRE AT&TIC on paper won't train your brain to recognize real adversary behaviors in live traffic. Real-time practice transforms you from a learner to a defender. Here's the difference real-time makes. I understand what SIEM does. I configured Wazoo, parsed logs, and responded to simulated alerts. I've read about GDPR. I implemented GDPR controls, classified personal data with OpenDLP, and wrote a policy draft. I know port numbers. I restricted inbound ports on pfSense, simulated attacks, and tracked the attempted intrusions with Suricata. The skill that sets you apart. Simulation is not extra. It's essential. Real-time practice gives you confidence under pressure, context behind every security tool, clarity in interviews, and most importantly, credibility with hiring managers. The hiring reality. Want to know the mindset of interviewers like me? If I see real-world implementations on your resume, I stop asking textbook questions. I switch to, walk me through your lab. What did you do when X happened? Show me your OpenDLP config. How did you identify PII? What alerts came from Wazoo, and how did you act on them? That's the real conversation. That's when your gap becomes your edge. Final words. You are capable of building your own path. All you need is curiosity, consistency, and a bit of courage. Learning is non-negotiable. Real-time simulation is highly recommended. Document everything. Share your journey. Let the world see it. Whether you're in a job, between jobs, or switching domains, this is the path. Turn your downtime into prime time, because in cybersecurity the self-starters win. I'm rooting for you.